First contact and cultural shock. The crystalline vessels of the Xanthari Exploration Cooperative glided through the nebula's outer boundary, their translucent hulls refracting starlight in dazzling patterns. Fleet Commander Nerine stood on the command deck of the flagship Harmonious Discovery, her forearms positioned in the formal stance of scientific contemplation as she studied the anomalous readings. Unknown vessel detected at coordinates 87 to 4216, announced Navigator Calith, his voice carrying the melodic tones typical of the Xanthari species. Configuration matches nothing in our database. Narine's secondary eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of intense interest among her kind. The main view screen shifted to display a vessel unlike any the Xanthari had encountered in their centuries of peaceful exploration. It was angular and dark, with visible external weapon mounts and reinforced plating. Despite being half the size of the Harmonious Discovery, it projected an unmistakable aura of strength. "Fascinating," Nerine whispered. "A new species. Open communication channels on all frequencies and transmit our standard greeting protocols." The Xanthari had encountered 8 spacefaring civilizations during their exploration history. All had followed similar developmental patterns, achieving space travel through scientific cooperation, with military technology as an afterthought. This vessel suggested a different path entirely. After several minutes of silence, the communications array chimed. "Greetings, Crystalline Fleet. This is Captain Vera Sharma of the Human Systems Alliance vessel, SS Invictus. We come from Earth and are on a deep space reconnaissance mission. Please identify yourselves." The main view screen flickered to life, displaying the alien captain. The bridge crew of the Harmonious Discovery collectively straightened their posture in surprise. The human stood upright on 2 limbs instead of the expected 4 or 6, with only a pair of forward-facing eyes set in a flat face. The being wore a dark uniform adorned with metallic insignia and symbols. "I am Fleet Commander Nerine of the Xanthari Exploration Cooperative vessel, Harmonious Discovery," she replied, her translator converting her melodic speech patterns into something the humans could understand. "We welcome you to Xanthari space and wish to establish peaceful relations." Chief Science Officer Teller approached Nerine and whispered, "Their vessel architecture is concerning. I detect multiple weapon systems, redundant shielding, and compartmentalized hull sections. This is a warship, Commander." Nerine acknowledged this with a subtle gesture but maintained her diplomatic demeanor. "Captain Sharma, we would be honored to exchange cultural information and perhaps arrange a meeting between our crews." Captain Sharma smiled, an expression the Xanthari translator interpreted as friendly, though the showing of teeth would normally be considered aggressive among their kind. "We would be pleased to host your delegation aboard the Invictus, Commander Nerine. Our vessel is equipped with environmental adaptation technology that should accommodate your physiological needs." After the transmission ended, the Xanthari command staff gathered for consultation. "This is unprecedented," stated Diplomatic Minister Sovin. "Their ship appears designed primarily for combat, not exploration or scientific discovery. Perhaps they evolved in a hostile environment," suggested Teller. "Their physical form lacks natural defenses. No crystalline exoskeleton, no redundant organs, no biological weapons. They may have compensated through technological means." Nerine considered these insights carefully. The Xanthari philosophical doctrine emphasized understanding through direct experience. "Prepare a delegation. Myself, Science Officer Teller, Diplomatic Minister Sovin, and 2 security attaches. We will meet these humans and learn their true nature." The Xanthari shuttle approached the human vessel, its crystalline structure contrasting sharply with the dark metal hull of the Invictus. As they drew closer, the delegation observed battle scars marring the ship's exterior, evidence of previous conflicts. They were received in what the humans called a docking bay, a cavernous space containing smaller craft and various equipment. Captain Sharma greeted them personally, accompanied by several officers. The humans were smaller than the Xanthari, with softer bodies and no visible crystalline components, yet they carried themselves with surprising confidence. "Welcome aboard the Invictus," said Captain Sharma, performing a respectful approximation of the Zinthari greeting gesture. "We've adjusted the environmental settings in our conference section to match your homeworld specifications." As they moved through the ship, the differences between their cultures became increasingly apparent. The Invictus had none of the meditation chambers or artistic spaces that were central to Zinthari vessels. Instead, every corridor contained emergency equipment, sealed compartments, and what the humans called battle stations. "Your ship seems designed primarily for combat," observed Nareen carefully. "The Invictus is a Guardian-class deep reconnaissance vessel," replied Captain Sharma. "She's built to operate independently in potentially hostile territory for extended periods." "You anticipate hostility in your explorations?" asked Diplomatic Minister Sovan. The human officers exchanged glances that the Zinthari could not interpret. "We prepare for all possibilities," Captain Sharma said finally. "Human history has taught us that it's better to have capabilities you don't need than to need capabilities you don't have." They passed a section of wall with different colored paneling. "Recent repairs," explained the human engineering officer named Liu. "Took damage from a pirate raid in the Arcturus sector 3 months ago. Lost part of our sensor array and 2 crew members." The casual mention of combat losses shocked the Zinthari delegation. In their culture, the loss of even a single life during exploration was considered a profound tragedy, often resulting in mission abandonment and extensive safety reviews. "You continued your mission after sustaining casualties?" asked Teller. "Of course," replied Captain Sharma, appearing genuinely confused by the question. "That's what we do. We adapt, we overcome, we continue." The tour proceeded to various ship sections, each revealing aspects of human culture that the Zinthari found increasingly difficult to comprehend. The medical bay contained extensive trauma facilities. The crew quarters were designed to function even if severed from the main vessel. The bridge was compact and utilitarian, with multiple redundant systems. Most disturbing to the peace-loving Zinthari was an area the humans called the armory, containing personal weapons for the crew. The concept that explorers would carry devices designed specifically to harm other beings was profoundly alien to their philosophy. In the conference room, the humans had prepared synthesized refreshments based on Zinthari biochemistry, a thoughtful gesture that somewhat eased the growing tension. "I sense our ship design has troubled you," said Captain Sharma directly. "Perhaps I should explain. Earth's history is complex and often violent. When we reached for the stars, we carried that history with us. Your species prioritized military technology over scientific advancement," asked Nareen. "Not exactly," Sharma replied. "We value science tremendously. It's what got us to the stars. But we've learned that exploration and defense are not separate endeavors. The galaxy can be dangerous." Science Officer Teller's crystalline appendages flickered with confusion patterns. "Yet you continue exploring despite these dangers." "Because of these dangers," replied the human security chief, a woman named Commander Rodriguez. "Humans are curious by nature. We need to know what's out there, even if what's out there might be hostile." The main view screen activated, displaying images of Earth, a blue and green world that appeared surprisingly delicate. "Our homeworld was not always peaceful," explained Captain Sharma. "Perhaps that's why we build ships like the Invictus, to ensure it remains so." As the diplomatic discussion continued, the Zinthari began to understand that human history had followed a fundamentally different path than their own. Where Zinthari evolution had been gradual and cooperative, guided by their planet's stable environment and abundant resources, humans had evolved through constant challenges and conflicts. "We've never needed weapons for exploration," said Diplomatic Minister Sovan. "The species we've encountered have all been peaceful." "You've been fortunate," replied Captain Sharma. "Our first contact with another intelligent species nearly ended our civilization. The Craxis Imperium saw us as prey, not equals." The humans shared historical records of this conflict, images of burning cities, desperate battles, and eventually hard-won victory. To the Zintheri, such violence was almost incomprehensible, yet they could not deny the obvious resilience these experiences had forged in humanity. Perhaps, suggested Nareen thoughtfully, your strength and our wisdom might complement each other. Captain Sharma smiled. Commander Nareen, that may be the foundation of a wonderful alliance. Just as the diplomatic atmosphere began to warm, the ship's alert system activated with a piercing sound that startled the Zintheri delegation. Captain, reported a human officer urgently. 3 unidentified vessels approaching at high velocity. Configuration matches Scourge raiders. Weapons hot. Shields detected. Captain Sharma's demeanor transformed instantly from diplomatic to commanding. Red alert. Battle stations. Commander Nareen, I apologize for the interruption, but it appears we have unwelcome visitors. The Zintheri watched in alarm as the human crew smoothly transitioned to combat readiness, their earlier friendliness replaced by focused efficiency. Scourge raiders? Asked Nareen, feeling suddenly vulnerable so far from her own vessel. Pirates and slavers, explained Captain Sharma grimly. They prey on isolated ships and scientific outposts. They've never encountered humans before. Her expression hardened. And they're about to learn why that's a mistake. Trial by fire and mutual understanding. The conference room view screens filled with tactical displays as Captain Sharma rapidly issued orders to her crew. To the Zintheri delegation, the transformation was astonishing. The diplomatic humans had become warriors in an instant. Your vessel is vulnerable, Commander Nareen, Sharma said, her voice calm despite the circumstances. The harmonious discovery isn't built for combat, is it? No, admitted Nareen. Our ships are designed for scientific exploration and cultural exchange. Our defenses are minimal. Captain Sharma nodded sharply. Lieutenant Patel, contact Zintheri command staff and advise defensive maneuvers. Recommend they position behind the nebula's denser regions. The radiation will help mask their signature. The Scourge vessels are targeting your companion ships, reported a human tactical officer. They haven't detected us yet. We're running silent. Sharma turned to Nareen. Commander, with your permission, we'll use this tactical advantage. The Invictus was designed for exactly this scenario. Nareen hesitated only briefly before acquiescing. The Zintheri abhorred violence, but they were responsible for thousands of explorers now in danger. What are your intentions, Captain? We'll draw their attention away from your fleet and engage them directly, Sharma replied, leading the delegation toward the bridge. Your people should retreat to safety. The ship's lighting had shifted to a red hue as they entered the bridge. A compact command center, nothing like the spacious, contemplative bridges of Zintheri vessels. Every crew member was intensely focused on their stations. Weapons status, demanded Captain Sharma. Railguns charged, missile tubes loaded, point defense systems active, reported the weapons officer crisply. Shields at maximum. All systems nominal, added another officer. The Scourge vessels are deploying boarding craft toward the Zintheri fleet, reported the sensor officer. Estimate 3 minutes until contact. Sharma's eyes narrowed. Not enough time for a full retreat. Change of plans. Move to intercept those boarding craft. Lieutenant Kim. Target engines only. Disabling shots. Disabling shots, questioned Commander Rodriguez. Captain, these are Scourge raiders. They don't take prisoners. I understand, Commander, replied Sharma firmly. But we have diplomatic guests aboard. Let's demonstrate that humanity can show restraint when possible. The Invictus surged forward, its engines flaring as it abandoned stealth mode. The vessel accelerated with surprising speed toward the raiders, who immediately detected the new threat. They're changing course, reported the tactical officer. Boarding craft returning to their carriers, all 3 vessels moving to engage us. As expected, said Sharma, satisfaction evident in her voice. They can't resist a valuable target. Communications, open a channel to the lead vessel. The main view screen displayed a reptilian being with mottled scales and predatory eyes. The translator struggled momentarily before converting the harsh, clicking language. Unidentified vessel, you have entered Scourge hunting grounds. Surrender and prepare to be boarded. Captain Sharma stood straighter, her voice commanding. This is Captain Vera Sharma of the Human Systems Alliance vessel Invictus. You are threatening ships under our protection. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. The Scourge commander's face contorted in what appeared to be amusement. We outnumber you 3-1, small vessel. Your destruction will be. Sharma cut the transmission with a gesture. They never listen. Targeting solutions. Locked on all 3 vessels, confirmed the weapons officer. Fire. The Zinthari delegation watched in astonishment as the human vessel unleashed precise attacks against the much larger raider ships. The Invictus moved with unexpected agility, evading enemy fire while delivering devastating strikes to propulsion and weapon systems. Their shields are down, reported the tactical officer after several intense minutes. 2 vessels disabled. The 3rd is attempting to flee. Pursue and disable, ordered Sharma. Don't let them escape to warn others. The battle continued with the Invictus systematically neutralizing the threat. When a lucky shot from the remaining raider breached the human ship's hull, emergency systems activated instantly, and damage control teams responded with practiced efficiency. Breach on deck C contained, reported an officer. Medical teams responding. 2 injuries, no casualties. Throughout the engagement, the Zinthari observed how the humans operated, not with battle lust or aggression, but with disciplined precision. They fought not for conquest or glory, but to protect. When the final raider vessel was disabled, Captain Sharma ordered boarding parties to secure the ships and free any captives the Scourge might have acquired in previous raids. Commander Nareen, she said, turning to the still stunned Zinthari leader, I apologize for exposing you to conflict. This isn't how we hoped our first diplomatic exchange would proceed. Nareen's crystalline structure shimmered with complex emotion patterns. No apology is necessary, Captain. You defended my people at risk to your own. We are in your debt. The Scourge vessels contained captives from 2 different species, reported Commander Rodriguez after the boarding operation. Mostly scientists and researchers from isolated outposts. All alive, though many require medical attention. Prepare our medical bay to receive them, ordered Sharma. Contact the Zinthari fleet. Their medical facilities may be better equipped for some species. As the rescue operations continued, Nareen observed the human crew with new understanding. They moved with purpose and compassion, treating the rescued captives and even the subdued raiders with professional care. Your species is a contradiction, Captain Sharma, Nareen said quietly. You build warships yet use them to protect. You prepare for violence yet prefer peace. Sharma smiled tiredly. That's humanity in a nutshell, Commander. We hope for the best but prepare for the worst. Later, as the Zinthari and human medical teams worked together to treat the rescued captives, Science Officer Teller approached Nareen with a revelation. Commander, I've analyzed the Scourge technology. They've been active in this sector for decades. The reason we never encountered them before is because they avoided Zinthari space, finished Nareen. Understanding dawning. But why? Our vessels would have been easy targets. The answer came from an unexpected source. One of the rescued scientists, a Valerian researcher with translucent skin and large compound eyes. The Scourge fear crystalline technology, she explained weakly from her medical bed. An ancient legend among their kind speaks of crystalline beings who once defeated their ancestors. They avoid your territory despite the tempting targets. Nareen's secondary eyes blinked rapidly in surprise. So our peaceful nature has been protected by a misconception, a legend we knew nothing about. Sometimes appearances are enough, said Captain Sharma, who had joined them. But legends won't protect you forever. The galaxy is changing, borders are shifting, and not all species respect boundaries. In the following days, as the Zinthari and humans worked together to return the rescued captives to their homes, a deeper understanding developed between the 2 species. The Zintheri command staff toured the Invictus again, but this time with new eyes, seeing not just a warship, but a vessel of protection and rescue. In the ship's mess hall, now serving as an impromptu gathering space for multiple species, diplomatic minister Sovan engaged with human crew members. Your ship contains dedicated medical facilities, extensive rescue equipment, and diplomacy suites, he observed. These are not typical features of a pure warship. Lieutenant Commander Patel nodded. The Invictus is classified as a Guardian-class vessel for a reason. Our primary mission is to protect and serve, not just to fight. Yet you fought with remarkable efficiency, noted Teller, still processing the tactical data from the engagement. Because sometimes protection requires force, explained Commander Rodriguez. We train for combat so thoroughly because we hope to avoid it whenever possible. When we must fight, we aim to end the conflict quickly and decisively. Captain Sharma invited Nareen to her private quarters, a Spartan space with few personal effects, save for a shelf containing small objects from various worlds and a framed image of what appeared to be the captain's family. What will you report to your leadership about humanity? Sharma asked directly. Nareen's crystalline structure shifted through thoughtful patterns before she answered. That humans are perhaps the most complex species we have encountered. You carry contradictions within you that would fracture most civilizations, yet somehow these tensions have forged you into something remarkable. We've had a long, difficult history, admitted Sharma. Centuries of conflict taught us hard lessons about the price of war and the value of peace. When we united and reached for the stars, we promised ourselves we would never again allow conquest or subjugation of ourselves or others. Your warriors protected scientists and civilians without hesitation, said Nareen. This suggests a value system that prioritizes life despite your military capabilities. The strongest should protect the vulnerable, Sharma replied simply. It's a principle we try to live by, even when it's difficult. As the rescue operations concluded, the Zintheri Cooperative and Human Systems Alliance established formal diplomatic relations. The harmonious Discovery and Invictus would journey together through the sector, combining Zintheri scientific expertise with human protective capabilities. On the observation deck of the Invictus, Nareen and Captain Sharma stood side by side, watching the stars. My people have explored the stars for centuries seeking knowledge and understanding, said Nareen. Yet we remained ignorant of threats like the Scourge. Perhaps there is wisdom in your human saying, peace through strength. And perhaps there's wisdom in the Zintheri philosophy of understanding through peaceful exploration, countered Sharma. Neither approach is complete without the other. The Invictus and harmonious Discovery moved in formation through the nebula, the angular human warship, and the crystalline Zintheri vessel, creating a striking contrast against the cosmic backdrop. Together, they represented a new kind of alliance, one that combined the best aspects of both civilizations. As news of the partnership spread throughout both fleets, the crews began informal exchanges. Human security personnel trained Zintheri teams in basic defensive tactics, while Zintheri scientists shared advanced sensor technology that would enhance the Invictus's exploration capabilities. Before departing for their joint mission, Captain Sharma presented Commander Nareen with a gift, a small earth plant called a bonsai tree, carefully cultivated in a crystalline container that complemented Zintheri aesthetics. On Earth, this represents the balance between strength and gentleness, explained Sharma. The tree is shaped by careful pruning, yet it grows stronger for it. It must be tended with both discipline and compassion. Nareen received the gift with formal gratitude, understanding its symbolic significance. In return, she presented Captain Sharma with a Zintheri resonance crystal that harmonized with human brainwaves, promoting clarity of thought and emotional balance. Perhaps this is the beginning of something greater than either of our species could achieve alone, said Nareen as their ships prepared to depart. Captain Sharma nodded, a determined expression on her face. The Scourge were just one threat among many. But together, your wisdom and our strength, we can build something the galaxy has never seen before, a peace that doesn't require innocence to maintain it. As the joint fleet departed, word of the alliance spread throughout nearby systems. The legend grew quickly. Crystalline beings of great wisdom now traveled with fierce human protectors. Many species watched with interest, some with concern, others with hope. The human warship and Xanthari explorers continued their journey into the unknown, each changed by their encounter with the other. They would face many challenges ahead, but they would face them together. The humans had found purpose beyond battle, and the Xanthari had found security without sacrificing their principles. In the vastness of space, such partnerships were rare and precious, a testament to the possibility that different paths could lead to mutual understanding and respect. The galaxy watched and wondered what this unusual alliance might achieve. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, word spread among the scourge and other predatory species. The humans and Xanthari were not to be trifled with. The humans fought with a ferocity that shocked even hardened raiders, while the mysterious crystalline technology of the Xanthari held untold potential. Together, they had become something new, explorers with teeth, scientists with shields, a force for discovery protected by the will to defend it. The contradictions that had once separated them now formed the foundation of their strength. In the quiet moments between missions, Captain Sharma often found herself on the observation deck, watching the Xanthari vessels glide alongside her own. She would think of Earth's long history of conflict and cooperation, of humanity's hard-won wisdom, and feel a sense of pride. Perhaps this was why humans had evolved as they did, not just to survive, but to one day protect others who could not protect themselves. Commander Nareen, too, spent time in contemplation, her crystalline form refracting starlight, as she considered the rapid evolution of Xanthari diplomatic doctrine. The humans had shown them that the galaxy was more complex than their peaceful exploration had revealed. Knowledge without the strength to preserve it was vulnerable. Wisdom without the courage to defend it might be lost. Together, they had found balance, a new way forward that honored both their histories while creating something neither could have imagined alone. And when the next threat emerged from the darkness, they would be ready, not just with weapons and shields, but with the strength that comes from true understanding and mutual respect. The legend of the human warship and its crystalline allies was just beginning.